episode 35 of the Broadway Shuffle. And tonight we are joined by a very special guest. Texas Tech star, first team All Big 12, Jacob Rodriguez is joining the show. Jacob, welcome to the show. How you doing, man?
Good, man. Thank y'all for having me.
Man, well, we are really excited to have you. We appreciate you being on. And I know it's been a crazy couple weeks for Texas Tech football. We've had to replace both coordinators. You got people in the transfer portal. And you also mentioned that you are going to be coming back for 2025. Why don't you go into a little bit what led into that decision and what Texas Tech football means to you and what this past year was like?
Yeah, man. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that goes into it. And I think with the new coordinators and stuff, that's exciting. But I think for my family and I, we just talked it over, and we thought the best decision was to come back. And a lot of that has to do with, draft grade and other things of that nature. And so we thought it was in my best interest if I get another year, playing quarterback before, and getting another year of linebacker in would definitely help with that. Yeah.
Man, that's awesome. We're obviously very excited to have you coming back. You are one of the best players on the defense this year, if not the best. I don't want to toot your horn too much, but we're really excited to have you back on the team. The team will definitely be better for that. But we kind of want to go back a little bit. You mentioned that you played quarterback at Virginia, but originally you are from the West Texas area. Talk about kind of where you started playing football and then the process that kind of led you to Virginia.
Yeah, so I'm from Wichita Falls, Texas. Played growing up. It was a good time. I mean, I wasn't a big college football fan growing up. I was more of an NFL guy. It's kind of weird to say around people because, everybody's a college football fan in Texas. But, yeah, I was more of an NFL guy. So growing up, didn't really pay attention to too much college football, that type of stuff. But always loved it. Definitely, it was my first love. But, yeah, it's cool growing up around in this area. And there's so many people that care for it. I think the biggest thing is Tech travels. So wherever we go or, wherever I go, you always see a Red Raider fan or something, an alumni that went here. And so it's really cool to see that and be out here playing.
Man, well, I got to ask, who's your NFL team?
The Vikings.
Oh, man. Why the Vikings?
Interesting.
Yeah, I was born in Minnesota, and so lived there for, a short number of years before we moved to Texas. So I still claim Texas and feel like I'm from here a lot, but definitely growing up, it was we're all big Minnesota fans.
That's awesome.
Yeah, Jacob, you mentioned, playing quarterback in high school and at Virginia. Has that given you any kind of advantage, you think, now being on the defensive side of the ball? Obviously, you're extremely successful and impactful for our defense, but talk about that, playing on the offensive side of the ball, kind of transitioning to the defensive side of the ball. What effect do you think that had on your career and on your playmaking ability?
Yeah, I think it's real interesting because it's an advantage and a disadvantage at the same time. I think a lot of the mental game and stuff of that nature, I think I got a good hold of from playing quarterback. And so that definitely helped me with getting into, different down and distances and, seeing what the offense was trying to do in situations, attack open spaces and just, familiar concepts that you get, used to playing quarterback. And then film study too, for sure, was something that was an easy transition. Watching as much film as you do on the offensive side of the ball at the quarterback position. Now on the defensive side of the ball, kind of breaking the offenses down, it does help. But like I said, there are disadvantages. Like playing the position physically are, two completely different things. And when you talk about practice and stuff, you're hitting all the time in practice as a linebacker, and you don't get touched until the game. Quarterback. And so, different things like that, how to use your hands and all that stuff is a disadvantage, but definitely a lot of advantages on the mental side of the game.
Yeah, and we know that you and some of the other linebackers are starting a podcast right now. Tell us a little bit about that, where we can find you guys, what kind of episodes y'all are releasing. Just talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, we're really excited about it. So the new facility has a really cool studio room, and so we're using that as our podcast room, and no, we're really excited about it. We're not the best at it right now. We only have 2 episodes out now, but it's called That's 5 Podcast. We upload videos on YouTube. Just started getting video up there instead of just sound. But no, it's good. I think it's fun. It's something for us to do outside of football, but we can still talk about it. And so a big thing that we wanted to do was kind of spread our faith at first and that type of stuff. We're all men of faith. And so have a platform to be able to do that in our own way. And then also with the new facility coming out and all the ins and outs and everything that's changing, we want like a firsthand experience of what it's like inside the building, because kind of everybody's driving by and they see like the big facility now on the outside, but kind of what everything looks like on the inside, and try to give them inside scoop if we can.
Dude, so you're podcasting with 3 other guys, and I believe it's John Curry, Bryce Ramirez, and Ben Roberts, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so out of those 4 guys, who's the funniest? Who do you think's got the biggest future in podcasting out of those 4 individuals?
Oh, man, I don't know if I should answer this.
I'm putting you on the spot.
Yeah, I think probably Bryce. I think, yeah, because he's a louder guy, and so he has a good voice for it, so he can definitely do in the future. But yeah, he's not afraid to speak his mind too, and so I think we'll get some good sound bits from him for sure.
Well, you talked a little bit about, inside scoop on the facilities. We'd love to partake in that as well, man. Go ahead and tell us a little bit about that facility. What are some things you're super excited about? What are some things maybe fans haven't seen yet? Talk a little bit about that and what that's going to mean for you guys next year.
Yeah, I mean, that was also a big decision in coming back. Was the facility is, world class. We have everything that you can think of when it comes to recovery and when it comes to getting your body right, whether that be the training room or recovery rooms. The weight room is massive. The ceilings are incredibly high, and it makes you everything in there. It makes you excited to be there. And so when you can get guys to want to be there and want to be in the building more, it creates that culture. And then you can only be productive when you're in there. So there's the locker room's amazing. The new lockers are huge. Everybody has a big recliner in their locker for their seat, and so you can go in, take a nap, and do whatever you want. We have a players lounge, a 2-story players lounge. So like I said, the second floor is part of like the podcast room, and then we got some video games and stuff up there with some big like beanbag chairs. And in the first floor, you got like Pop-A-Shot, you got pool, you got air hockey, and then there's TVs and stuff down there too. That's just the first floor. But then you go upstairs, and you have a massive walkthrough. We call it a walkthrough room, but it's this huge screen. Bigger than a movie theater screen. And we're out. They have artificial turf down there, and we can go walk through and put the other team's plays up there and walk through them right there. And so we don't have to go out to the field or anything. And then all the new rooms are incredible. So there's so much there that it just excites you to be there and wants you to keep coming back. And so a lot of us have joked about it and said, we might just not pay our rent, go back because you really can. You can be lost in there. It's awesome.
Jacob, how big of a just exciting thing was that to have kind of coming into this off season, because so much in today's world in college athletics is the arms race. Is how nice are your facilities, all those different kind of things. How big do you think that's going to be in terms of recruiting for not only transfers from the portal, but also just guys coming out of high school?
100%. I really think it's world class. It's one of the best in the world. Entire facility, from the connection of the south end zone to the indoor track to just our new facility. Everything is all in the same space. And so instead of having to travel from one place to another to do different things, it's all in the same area. So you can go straight from the locker room out to the practice field, to go right up to the meeting room. It's incredible. I think definitely we'll get a lot of smiles when recruits come by and get everything that they can get their hands on. It's exciting. It really is.
Yeah, man, it's cool to see kind of what that's bringing to the football team, just the athletic department as a whole. And I can tell that y'all are really excited about that. I think it'll be great for our future as well. But specifically on the team and your role, when it comes to leadership, it just feels like you clearly are a defined leader. I think the whole fan base was just super pumped to hear that you were coming back. Can you talk a little bit about like when you feel like you stepped into that role? Was there a transition period where you felt you were taking ownership to kind of not only just lead the defense, but be a sounding voice for the whole team, and just kind of the mature leader that you've really developed into over the last couple of years?
Yeah, I think a lot of it was with trust. But I think when it really happened was going into that second year with McGuire and, right before the Washington game, because I got hurt in that game. But I really feel like I took a step in leadership-wise there. But then once I got hurt, it's kind of you always feel weird when you're hurt and you're kind of out and in and out and not seeing the guys and stuff. But whenever I came back and then that offseason when I got named captain, that definitely helped too. But it definitely helps when you play the position that I play, especially on the defensive side of the ball, because, we talk to the front end, we talk to the back end. So we have a lot of different relationships all throughout the defense. And so I think I was just set up in a great place for that. And, I think that's how it worked out. It was more organic than anything.
I think that's really good to hear. Kind of two things on that, Jacob. One, what is your relationship like with Coach McGuire? I know he's the head guy. He's got a lot of guys on the team that he's got to manage, but talk a little bit about your relationship with him. And then two, what is that process of getting named a captain? Is there like a ceremony? We obviously don't see that. We just see you guys trot out on the field and you have got the C on your jersey. Talk a little bit about that and then your relationship with McGuire.
Yeah, McGuire's the best. I mean, the guy, I always say this, the guy that you see on film and, press conferences and when he goes out and does public appearances, that's the same guy every single day. He's always going to give you 100% of what he has, and, he'll love you for it. And, no, he really is the best. I think everybody that's around him knows that's who he is. And it's nice that you can have somebody who's consistent, but then also as engaged in your personal life and development life as a football player. It's really great to know that he's always there for you. But I think to the getting named captain, it was more of at the end of last year going into this year because, teams changed so much that we kind of wanted to get something set for when that new team is getting formed. And around that time, we were in the west side of the stadium because, we were out in portables and because everything was under construction. And so we had to find a way to, all come together and kind of start building this culture with this new team and everything and how that looked. And so we kind of got named that all the way in the off season. And so I think that definitely helped with our development through the off season and through spring ball and summer workouts and in the fall camp. And so it's not just like a season thing and where you go out and, like you said, on the field where you have the C on your chest, but it's more of the entire year, put together. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. With this, the new landscape of college football with the transfer portal being, as it is right now, what's it like with the new players coming in and going out? Is there an acclimation period or is it just kind of like people fit in right away?
Yeah, it just depends. I mean, it really is weird. It is a weird time because, guys are in and out with injury and surgery and everything like that. And then you have new guys coming in and out. And so I think when it really starts for us is that first meeting we have in January when we come back for school. And that's when we kind of set and say, hey, this is the team that we have. This is the direction we're going. Let's get there. And so then we start building on from that. But it just takes time, with anything. Some guys, click easy and some guys you got to work on. But, that's everything in life. And so now with this new facility, we'll be around each other more, which will be nice instead of, all in our separate areas. We were walking from the east side of the stadium where our locker room was over to the west side, over to the indoor for practice. And then over when the south end zone got done, we were up there for some meetings. And then, we were all over the place. So it's really hard to, make a team when you're not around everybody all the time. And so now that we have a chance to do that, I think it'll be a lot quicker of a transition for people to get acclimated. But no, definitely something we're excited about.
Yeah, you talked about the changing landscape of college football. Obviously, you have changes in terms of personnel, but also sometimes you have different coordinators coming in and out. Talk about what that's been like for the team. How have you guys adjusted with all those different things? I'm sure you met Coach Wood by this point. What can we expect? I'm sure he seems like a great guy from the outside. So what's kind of all that been like for you guys? What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think Coach Wood I think he's a great guy from what I've seen so far and what I've talked to him. And, the first day that he was here after he got the job, we sat down, me and the other 3 guys that are on podcasts, we sat down and talked to him in his office and, talked for a good 30, 45 minutes and, not talking about football, but just talking about life and everything, getting to know him. And, I think he's a great guy. Can't wait to meet his family and for them to be around more and to get close in that manner. But no, I'm excited to see what he can do. He's not taking too many reins right now, but he's kind of letting us do our thing and asking us about some, X's and O's off the field and just trying to get to know everybody. And that type of stuff is really nice whenever you're in this transition period when somebody who's really understanding and really patient with everything. That's really nice to see.
Yeah, man. And it's with Wood coming in, but obviously Coach DeRuyter, he had such a good impact on Texas Tech and on this football team. And it's always tough, I'm sure. Can you talk a little bit about that relationship and how does that go? Like, do you guys hear in a team meeting from that? Do you find out on the news? Like, what was that like? And how difficult is that on players to go through that transition?
Yeah, it's hard for sure. I mean, especially for me, it was a guy that, this was the first defense I've ever been a part of. And so, learning his defense and being in it for the 3 years, no, it's hard to see him go. I love him. I think that he did amazing. He came to work every single day with the right mindset. Just sometimes it doesn't work, and it is what it is. But McGuire will come in. He came in a team meeting after the West Virginia game, and he broke the news to us that he sat down and let him go. But it was kind of one of those things where we had to put our trust in McGuire, and he had our back, and he wanted to do what was best for the program. And so, I trust him and I believe him. But it's definitely hard to see somebody like that go, who, is fighting tooth and nail for us every single week, and trying to do the best.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think I speak for all of us. Everybody had a really positive opinion of DeRuyter, especially as a person, and then even as a coordinator. There's an argument to be made that he's the best defensive coordinator you've had here in like 14, 15 years. I always thought DeRuyter was really good, so I was kind of surprised McGuire ended up making that change. I'm going to ask a bit of a nerdier question, so feel free to expand as much as you want. When you look at getting a new scheme, so when you did talk to DeRuyter, or even with Shield, and you're installing a new playbook, a new scheme on the defensive side of the ball, I don't know anything about that. Explain what that's like for somebody that's kind of stupid like me and doesn't understand that. Like, how hard is that? How much time does that take, especially for you and your linebacker group that does so much with the communication piece?
Yeah. So I think the hardest part is both of these defenses have NFL-type communications because so much information that you have to take and process very quickly.
Jacob, I'm going to jump in. I'm an idiot here. NFL type communication. You're going to have to explain that to me. What do you mean by that?
Like big picture, like a lot of stuff going on.
Okay.
So, whenever you're looking at somebody's formation or the personnel that they have on the field, so the type of people they have, how you line up to it, and every which way something could go wrong. And so we have to know that and be able to make the correct checks that we need to make to play the best defense and kind of give ourselves the best fighting chance. All that stuff is very complicated, but they try to make it as simple as possible. And so, going in and out from new defenses now, it's definitely interesting with all the communication because a lot of it does lie on us as linebackers, and so we have to make a lot of the communications. But for the most part, it's all same as, right? Like they want to run the ball or they want to throw the ball. You can make it as simple as possible, but we are very specific on how we do things because we want to be in the best defense possible for what we think the offense is going to do or what they've been doing. It can go any way, but it is very difficult at times, but they try to make it as simple as possible for us.
That's something that I always get frustrated by when people say like the defense just needs to play harder. It's like, is that really a valid critique? There's so much that goes into preparing for the game. That feels like that's the least of anybody's worries. And I'm not going to ask you to rag on yourself here, but have you ever made a check and then you see the ball snapped and the play develop and you go, uh-oh, like I may have checked this into the wrong thing. Like, is that something that happens in real time? Like what is that? What is that process like? None of us have ever experienced that.
Oh, 100%. But it's something we say is if we're all wrong, we're all right.
Mm.
So if half the defense is playing one call and half the defense is playing the other call, that's when bad stuff happens. But if we make a check and everybody gets it and we're playing the call, we have a chance. So it might not be the best thing that we want to be in for what the offense is about to do, but we're going to be okay because it's still a good call that we're in. Stuff like that, it is hard and it's a lot on our plate, and we can make it very complex for how we do things for formation, how they line up, what personnel they have in the game, if they have a tight end in the game or if they don't. And then if they go empty, so nobody in the backfield except for the quarterback, or they go, Iowa State always went, 13, 14 personnel, which is
I know, that's crazy.
one receiver, 4 tight ends in the game.
So dumb.
We have to match up our personnel to their personnel and then get the right call and then look at the down and distance and see what that looks like.
Jeez.
And, I mean, there's so many different things going on, and then you have shifts and motions from the offense. So we're trying to get ourselves in the best call we can, but it's all happening, in the play clock, and so,
Yeah.
But like I said, if we're all wrong, we're all right. And so we do that. That's all the mental side of the game that we spend hours and hours and hours on getting ready for a game.
And what goes into the preparation, like on a week-to-week, game-to-game basis, specifically for your linebacker group, and then also specifically for teams like Iowa State that are so different from, the rest of the Big 12 teams that you guys face?
Yeah, it is specifically for our room. We spend a lot of time together up there at the facility. We really do watch a lot of film, and it's crazy you asked that because I really think that we watch outside of quarterback. We probably watch the most by far.
Wow.
As a group. Because every single team, football is football, and, a receiver can go and, run routes and they have to know their call sheet for that game. But, they've ran a curl a million times. They've ran a fade a million times. But we have to line up to different things, and, we're given different pressures. So we're sending 5 people on a blitz or 6 people on a blitz, and we have to make things look different for the quarterback on the back end. But we spend, there's been so many days, even after practice, where we're up there till, 10:30 at night before we
Jeez, dude.
like we're up there, meeting, correcting things, watching new film or breaking down third down, red zone, all different situations that we can get into. We try to cover everything as much as we can for as long as we can. And so our weeks are pretty packed during the season. And
Wow.
So, yeah, it's a lot, but it's I wouldn't trade it for anything. It's so much fun.
Yeah, Jacob, you mentioned just kind of, how fun it is to be in that with those guys and to, go through that journey with them. I think I speak for all of us, I know, and probably Red Raider Nation, saying how much fun it was to watch you guys this year. 8 regular season wins for the first time since 2009, hopefully adding a 9th here in a few weeks. What a season, what a testament to not only the team and what you guys have done, but also Coach McGuire and just the culture change he's really brought to Texas Tech. Talk about this season and what that has, what it was like for you guys on the inside, because there was a lot of noise on the outside. I don't know if there was much noise on the inside. Even when we're playing well, people seem to be upset about something, and it's pretty hard, at least in my opinion, to be upset when you win 8 games. It's just, it's something we haven't experienced, and so we could not be more excited for what that was this year and how fun it was to watch, but also what it looks like for next year as well. So talk a little bit about this season, what it was like, and what it means to you guys.
Yeah, I think this season and this team, we had a goal of the Big 12 championship. And so, it was hard not being able to play in that game when we, felt like we should have. If we would have taken care of business in some other games, we would have had the head-to-head on both of those teams to be able to get in. So that was rough, and that put a bad taste in your mouth for sure. But I think we had so much adversity that happened this year that we were able to overcome. I feel like we won a lot of close games, a lot of one-score games. And it was one of those where, we always expected more. And so it was, we'd get a win and it would feel really good because, it is really hard to win football games. But, we were always ready for the next thing and for the next week. And it was really good because we had a really good mentality this year. We had talked about going 1-0 every single day. It kind of everything has a life and death of its own. So every single rep, every single practice, every single day. And so you're either going 1-0 that rep, that practice, that day, or you're not, so you're either kind of getting better or you're not. And so I think on all sides of the field, offense, defense, special teams, I think we did some really good things, but then we also did some things that, we were kicking ourselves for. And, the rough part is, the effort was there, but, the execution at times was lacking, and, that happens. But, man, we really felt that this team was going to, break through, which obviously we have 8 wins, but not all of us truthfully believe that we could have had more. And I feel like everybody could see that we should have had more. So it not to say it was a disappointing year, but it's definitely that getting to a bowl game isn't really a standard for us anymore. It's well past that. And so we're definitely excited for the guys who are, still here and ready for next year, but definitely more focused on, getting to 9 here in a couple weeks.
Man, you obviously were a great player, and I know it takes a team, and you definitely would give credit to your defensive line and the secondary and the safeties, but you made a lot of really exceptional plays this year. The one that always stood out to me when I think back on your season is the forced fumble on Tetaroa McMillan, the future top 10 NFL pick. What were some of your favorite plays from the season, and just talk a little bit about some of your individual performances? I know you're a humble guy, but I'd love to hear a little bit about what some of those moments were like for you as a player.
Yeah. Gosh, I haven't really thought about it.
Too humble, man. Too humble.
I think that play is up there. I mean, all turnovers is really nice when you get to take the ball away. I think that's real fun. And then I know I scored my first touchdown against Oklahoma State. I landed on the bad snap. That was cool.
Did you get to keep the football?
No, I didn't.
Man.
It was hard to celebrate. We won, but we let up 50. So it was one of those where it was a bitter win, but we'll take them. But I think those are up there. It's more of we practice all those things so much.
Yeah.
It's gratifying and satisfying whenever it happens. The punch that I had on the ball there in the fourth quarter was we practice a million times. Like, we go and we start off every practice with a takeaway circuit, and so we're going and purposely attacking the ball in all these different stations, and that punch is one of the ones that we practice. And so taking that from there to team periods in practice and then out to the game on Saturday is more gratifying when it's not something that was lucky as opposed to something that you worked on and something you envision happening and you can do. So yeah, I think that just more of seeing it in practice and then actually coming into fruition in the game.
Nice.
Yeah, Jacob, do you have a favorite game from this year? A favorite? I know we talked about moments and plays, but do you have a favorite just overall game from the 2024 season?
I think Iowa State. I think
it's a good one.
Undefeated on the road.
Yeah.
It was weird because during the week it didn't feel like that. I feel like we could look at the tape and we could beat these guys. They're not. This undefeated team that's just going to roll over everybody that they play. So it was really gratifying to see the team go up there and handle business. And it didn't look pretty, but the job got done, and on top of the grass that was really hard to play in. I think we handled all the elements, and I think we executed at the right time. And so, like I said, we had a lot of stuff where they did so many different things on offense that is not traditional to Big 12 play.
Mm-hmm.
Big 12 play, they like to spread it out, tempo, throw the ball around the yard. Iowa State's more of a, bigger body personnel team, want to run the ball, play action pass when they do throw. I think that just the difference of style of play that we had to strain all week to prepare for come out, and we had a good game on the defensive side of the ball. I think that was one of those where it was very satisfying to see all the work that we put in throughout the week match up well, and to be able to come out successful and with the win in that one was really good.
Nice. You guys got about 2 weeks left with this team. Who are some of the guys you're going to miss the most from the seniors moving on after the bowl game?
Obviously, Taj. I think everybody's going to miss Taj. I know I'm going to miss him. We've spent a lot of time together in all of our meetings that we've had together as captains and in different meetings and such like that. I think he is a better human than he is a football player, and he's a great football player. And so I think Taj for sure. I know Josh Kelly, I'm going to miss him a lot. He came on the scene, but he is all business, and he is ready to make the jump to the professional league. And I know my D lineman Quincy Ledet and Carroll. I think I really like those two. They are nonstop cracking jokes, all the time. I think it's sad that they had to miss out on the West Virginia game. They both got hurt in that Oklahoma State game, so I didn't get to play with them. But I'm definitely going to miss those two up front for sure.
Would you say they're the funniest guys on the team?
We have a lot. I mean, they're funny around each other, but I think it's a different type of funny than somebody like Tanner Allen is somebody that everybody loves, and he's a guy that you just look at and you just start laughing because like he's always gonna make you giggle or chuckle. But I know like Jordan Brown is real funny. He'll crack some jokes. Now there's a lot of guys that just have a really good upbeat spirit, but I think those two together might be
okay.
Yeah, we're talking about some of the older guys. As fans of the team, we're always monitoring. What is next year going to look like? Who are some of the young guys that didn't play a ton this year that you either think highly of? Maybe you're mentoring and saying, "Yeah, dude, this guy's up next." Like, who are some guys that we should have our eye on that maybe we haven't talked or thought about much so far?
I mean, I feel like a lot of the guys on defense for sure were all young and played. We definitely saw a lot of young guys play. I know Oliver Miles. I think he's gonna make a big jump and he's gonna do well. But a guy that I really like and that everybody's seen. I hate to tell him he's a young guy, but John Curry.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel like he's a young guy because we're all around together all the time. But he's making strides. I think he's going to be a really, really good football player. Just size and speed and everything he does on special teams too. But then I know we have guys on the offense side of the ball like Jacob Ponton. He's huge true freshman, left tackle. Big kid. I think he's definitely jumped through this offseason and everything with that. And then guys like, of course, Will Hammond. There's nobody. Now that Barron got, they posted that Barron's not going to play with his shoulder surgery, and Will's going to make the start. Nobody in the facility, was worried about it. Everybody knew that when the time comes and the game rolls around, Will's going to be ready to play. And so I think we all believe that and we all know that. There's a bunch of young guys that stepped up and played this year. Both of those true freshman running backs as well.
Yeah.
That stepped up and made plays. And it's all around the yard. I think guys are playing at a high level.
Man, great answer, and thank you for shouting out some of those guys. I know they'll all probably listen to this episode and be super stoked to hear the team captain talking about them. But talk a little bit, because we've seen, I guess maybe one combined full game from Will Hammond. Talk a little bit about maybe what we should expect from him against Arkansas. Obviously, not any sort of game plan or stuff like that, but what have you seen from him as a quarterback in practice? What is that going to look like when he trots out on the field against Arkansas?
Yeah. The big thing I want people to know about Will is he's all business. He seriously is all football, and you got to love that about your quarterback. I think how well he studied this year and how well he knows the offense that we're rolling with. Don't expect anything to change on the offensive side of the ball. I don't think we're going to dumb anything down from what I've seen so far in practice. I think we're going to, run our fast tempo off, and I think we're still going to, play, Texas Tech football. I think we're going to, throw the ball around. We're going to hand the ball off a decent amount, and I think Will's definitely the guy to be able to run the show. I really don't expect anything to change. I think the offense that you saw kind of, that finished in the top 10 in the country is still going to be, that same offense.
Did y'all know, or sorry, Z, did y'all know, Jacob, that Barron's shoulder was kind of not fully 100% throughout the year? And, just talk a little bit about Barron as well and just the toughness that he showed throughout the season.
Yeah, I mean, we all knew his shoulder was, not okay ever since that West Virginia game last year. He's been bad on that, and so he's been fighting it all off season. He sat out a lot of spring ball, as we know, to get ready for the season. He's met with, the same guys that have done NFL quarterback surgeries and stuff like that. So we know he's going to go through, the right process to get back and get fully healthy. But, Barron is the most competitive person you'll ever meet. He's a competitor and he'll fight, and even if they tell him to sit out, he probably won't, and so it's one of those where you love to have at quarterback position because how competitive they are. They can get guys going and kind of light a fire when they need to. No, Barron has definitely been a rock for us on the offensive side of the ball the entire year, and I think this is the first year since at least I've been here that and apparently a long time before that, we've had a quarterback make it through the year. So
I believe that number is 2016. So yeah, it's been quite a while.
Yeah, he's definitely played with some bumps and bruises for sure. Yeah, he's a tough guy, and he just wants to win.
Yeah, Jacob, I appreciate you talking a lot about that. And man, I really want to give Barron his flowers there. Playing with whatever degree of shoulder injury there, you got to respect a guy that's tough like that and is willing to, give it all for the team in that moment. It's probably really painful and not something that any of us would be willing to do. So shout out to Barron. What a wonderful season from him. One of the best seasons that we've had in, almost 10 years plus. Since Pat, basically, it's the best season that we've had from a quarterback. So, very impressive stuff. You had to fight through an injury last year, that Wyoming game on that fluke fumble attempt from that running back, just rolled your ankle. That stuff is really frustrating. And so we respect Barron a lot for that. And it's tough. Everybody's playing nicked and dinged up. But, we've talked a lot about football. I definitely want to get into some of the personal stuff for you. I don't know if a lot of people know this, but you are actually married. How interesting is that being the married guy in the team? I know there's maybe a couple, but is that different when you're dealing with 18-year-old Will Hammond who's just trying to do football and you're like, I have a wife, I got to deal with all this other stuff? What is that dynamic like? Not necessarily with Will, but just with a team of, young men.
Yeah. It's interesting. There's three of us who are married on the team. And so we kind of all understand and people that are around us all the time understand, but definitely, when we got, freshmen coming in and, some of them are 17 years old and, hey man, I'm married. This is my wife. So, yeah, it's interesting. Got married about a year and a half ago. Unfortunately, we don't live together. She's in the Army. She's out in Alabama at flight school. She's flying a Black Hawk helicopter, and
wow.
So yeah, she's doing her own thing. So I'm here, but it allows us the opportunity to do what we need to do. And so for me, playing football, I don't have to, sacrifice some of my time to do stuff with her, because one, she's doing her own stuff, but then I'm also doing my own stuff. So she understands, what needs to get done, and the how important our time is. And so it's nice that we're still care about each other and we're there for each other and try to see each other as much as possible. But especially during the year, we definitely understand each other's schedules.
Man, that's difficult. Brennan's married, I'm married, Conrad's married, Clayton's going to get married next year. Like, I can barely do marriage, and we live together. So I respect you a lot for doing that. Your wife must be a very wonderful person to be able to put up with that and to also serve our country. Like, man, how awesome is that? What a really cool story. That's really impressive to me. I know that's got to be really hard on you. So shout out to you for managing and doing that. It sounds like you guys are incredibly busy with football, and then you're also, maintaining a marriage, and your wife's, flying helicopters. Like, God, I asked my wife if I can do the podcast, and we got to do all this stuff, and you guys deal with such crazy things like that. Very impressive. So, really cool. I know Conrad had a question that he kind of wanted to transition to there, but yeah, shout out to you guys. That's incredibly
that's
impressive.
Awesome, Jacob. Yeah.
Yeah, Jacob, you mentioned that you guys were the linebackers doing this podcast together. You wanted to share your faith. What does that look like for you? What are you hoping to accomplish through that? Just want to give you an open platform to talk about that.
Yeah, we went through the first episode, just kind of trial episode to see how it went, and it was on my heart, and then I know the other guys too. When they saw what I texted them, they definitely agreed with it. But I think we have such a platform as Texas Tech football players that if we can express our love and our gratitude and everything for what he's done in our lives and what he's done, I think we can at least give a prayer before we start the podcast and give a verse for people leaving, just because it's something that's so important to us, and what we talk about, especially in our room specifically. We talk about it a lot. I think we had a pregame speech from our pastor before. I can't remember which game it was, but talked about praying before a game. Just game day alone, we pray at least 8 times. Whether it's together or by ourselves, and something like that people don't see a lot. And so it's kind of important for us to be able to use our platform and our point of view to put people in the right direction first. And realize that everything that we have and everything that has come our way with hard work and dedication, was afforded to us, by him. And so, we're just all extremely blessed from the positions that we're in. We all come from different families and different ways of life, and I'm married, and 2 of them have girlfriends, and one of them single, and so it's this huge dynamic. But we all come to the same place when it comes to our faith, and truly believe in how thankful we are and how blessed we are to have this opportunity afforded to us.
Man, that's so cool that you guys are doing that. I respect y'all for that. Talk a little bit more, how important has the Lord been for you on your football journey? You've probably been playing football, 10 plus years now. What has that been like for you? How has he kind of guided you through that? Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, I think I've been extremely blessed. I'm the youngest of 5 kids, and so my 2 older brothers are, a little less than 2 years older than me, and they're twins.
Wow.
And so growing up in that position, you always want to chase your older brothers. You always want to be as good as them or better. And so, I would always win growing up in my sport because I would always go against them every single day at whatever it was. And so, if I could compete with them, then I could compete with anybody my age. And so, I was blessed in that way to, be very successful growing up. And it, kind of gave me confidence and encouragement to keep going. And so, now that I'm here and doing what I'm doing, I'm so thankful for that. And, it really is a blessing. All the hard work and stuff that we put in is only for, in my head, it's only for one reason. I'm on that field playing a game, the game that I love, that I'm going to play. but it's because he's giving me that platform, and hopefully that people can see how hard I play. And, I have, tattoos on me, with, the crown of thorns and stuff like that. And just so that people can see how hard I play, and, what I do is all for his glory. And so, man, that
That's
guy,
great.
I always want to say, man, that guy really plays hard. Man, that's awesome. I really like watching this guy play. Why he plays so hard is because, his faith and his love for Jesus Christ and stuff like that. And so, I think we're all in that position. And, it truly is a blessing and a great opportunity that we have to do what we do. But just definitely thankful for all those.
That's awesome, Jacob. Thanks for sharing that.
That's great.
Man, that's great. And I'm sure that makes an impact not only on, the linebackers, but the team as a whole and even the community in Lubbock as well. And so just thanks for the impact and knowing that you play for more than just yourself. It shows, man. It shows on the field as well. And so just want to encourage you in that too. That's awesome, dude. Well, I wanted to close with a couple questions specifically about the Jones and the fan base and what you want Red Raider Nation to know, not only as we head into the bowl game in the offseason, but with you coming back and the exciting additions to the team and what 2025 might look like as well. So talk about the fan base. How much of an impact does their support mean for you and the rest of the team on game days and throughout the season? And then what is one thing you'd like Red Raider Nation to know about this football team and what the plans are for 2025?
Yeah, I said it earlier. I see Red Raiders everywhere whenever I travel. So whether that be any type of sporting event they travel to, or even if I'm just in the airport somewhere random, going to see my wife, traveling and stuff, there's always somebody who's a Red Raider. And it's incredible to see. And even on game day, the Jones being packed out, it is second to none. And as crazy as our fans get, we love it just as much, because, they're for us. And we're just so thankful that they're there because, it's like that COVID year, it's so weird if you don't play with fans, and it doesn't mean as much. And so, we're so thankful for our fans. We know we have the best fans in the country. And so we really appreciate you guys and hope that you guys continue to come out and support us. But, looking forward to next year, I think this bowl game, if we can take care of business, it's going to really help propel us into the off season. And from there, we're going to start building guys up. And like I said, with all of our young depth that we have, I think you're going to see a really excited squad. I know we have 2 new coordinators, and so we're excited to see what they can do. But they're both top in what they did at their previous school, and so I'm definitely excited for that. And you have a lot of same guys coming back, but a lot of new faces too. And so, we're gonna take care of business in the off season. And so, you guys should be excited for what's going to come in 2025.
Man, I'm already excited. I know we did this little thing on the Broadway Shuffle throughout the year. We joked with CJ about it on that episode, but the Kool-Aid Factory, we always were drinking the hype, man. And so I know that it'll be up and humming for sure in 2025. Conrad's a Kool-Aid guy, so we'll make sure we send you some of those videos as we get into the off season. But Jacob, man, I just wanted to say thank you, dude. Such a blessing to have you on the show. And CJ was on earlier in the season. To have a guy like you on that'll be back next year, it's going to be great to see. And we're looking forward to watching you play in a couple weeks against Arkansas. But just wanted to really say thank you and giving Red Raider Nation some of your time to learn about you and give some inside knowledge on the team. It's great. So we really appreciate you.
Well, thank y'all for having me. This has been awesome.
Yeah, man. Well, or go ahead.
Check him out on the That's 5 podcast.
Yeah.
We'll make sure to add a link. You can listen to all the linebackers. They riff. They cut it up. It's pretty funny stuff. It's odd for me always thinking about you guys. Most of the guys are 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. They're not kids, but they're just college kids, and you guys are having a great time with that. Some of you are married, obviously, and maybe have a little bit different perspective. But I love the insight that you guys have brought, and it's definitely worth checking out if you haven't already.
Yeah.
Well, awesome, man. Well, we'll drop a link in the description below, and make sure to check out Jacob on the 27th against Arkansas. But for Zyler, Clayton, Conrad, I'm Brennan and Jacob Rodriguez. Again, thank you, man, and we will catch you guys next time on the Broadway Shuffle. Wreck 'em.